Hey everyone, turn the light on. Okay. Oh damn, it is blinking. One quick second. There we go. For some reason, my webcam picks up like a flickering on my lights, like the overhead light here in the apartment. Okay, hi everybody. Happy New Year. Renata from the eSpot here. Hopefully my mic is working and you can hear me. You want to say hi, Cookie? You want to say hi, Cookie? Oh yeah. Hello, hiyo, Cookie. Happy New Year from Cookie. We had a rough night, didn't we? Actually, we had a rough night. She was having some trouble breathing. She doesn't want to get put down. Oh my goodness, Cookie. Cookie, don't you realize I'm trying to do a live video? All right, so yeah, Happy New Year. This is just going to be like a really low-key yap session, just about what 2024 was like. I did not go out last night for New Year's, so I spent a lot of time looking at my phone and social media, and I was seeing everyone's posts like about the previous year, and I was like, oh, that's fun. And like I saw a template that was like one picture from every month of the year. And I started going through my phone and I realized that actually there was a few months where there was like a lot of pictures that I would want to include. And then there was these other months where it was like almost like nothing happened. But more or less it was like nothing like of note happened. And so I started thinking about what 2024 was like. And it was actually kind of a really crazy year. And obviously, um, I'm in Finland now. So I was not in Finland at the beginning of the year. So actually, quite a lot has happened. And I thought it would just be interesting to look back. A lot of the people who are subscribed to the channel were not subscribed to the channel at the beginning of the year. So a lot of people really maybe don't know if they hadn't been following me what I had been up to. So she is really sniffing. She is really sniffing. So also I wanted to do this as a live video because I have been having issues editing. What are you sniffing? There's not even any food here. I was having a lot of issues with my computer editing videos. Like whenever I put video clips or other videos in, it crashes. So like that's been really annoying me, and that's part of the reason why I haven't done a ton of videos lately, because it's just really a hassle to edit videos, and I just feel like I've had better things to do than edit videos. So I'm gonna start in January. I just have some like notes. January started off really bad. I had gotten very sick. And I won't really go into like any details because who wants to know about that? But I did end up having to go to the emergency room because I had been sick for like 5 or 6 days and I wasn't getting better. So I needed to get looked at because it could have been something quite serious. Luckily, it wasn't. And with medications, like I was able to improve. And once I got better, well, later on, I found out that my insurance didn't cover that visit, and I had to pay like $1,000, over $1,000 for that one trip to the ER. So very thankful to be in a different medical system at the moment. So I got better, and things started getting better very quickly in general. So that second week of January was UMK songs being released. And okay, Cookie, do you know what? I need to put you down. I love you, but you are really pissing me off. Go lay down. So UMK songs came out. I did my reactions. It was the second time doing reactions to UMK. And at the time, I I didn't really have a ton of subscribers, and in the previous year, like I had videos that were getting views, but not really a ton of views, but still getting views. But this year was like crazy. Um, and I I couldn't believe the response that I was getting from the videos. In particular, I did a reaction to Paskana, and it was like a reaction I almost didn't even post because I cried through the whole thing and I was embarrassed by that. Um, and it ended up being, at least the last time I checked, the most watched reaction video to Paskana, even more than Wee Blogs. And Wee Blogs has like I think 100+ thousand subscribers. So actually, like the fact that a small channel like mine would have more views than Wee Blogs, which is the biggest like Eurovision outlet, was just really crazy. And Sara Sipala saw the video. She watched the video. People kept telling her, like she had multiple people tell her, like you have to see this video. She was asked about the video in interviews, and I had reached out to her manager and I was able to get an interview with her. She also had done a reaction video to like other people's reaction videos, and she had reacted to mine, and it was so surreal to like see her react to my video. And it was just like, thinking back, I don't think I even was really comprehending at the time like what was going on, because that was just very kind of like new territory for me. Because I didn't even think that like you make a video, you don't think, especially as a small channel, that anybody is going to watch the video beyond like your circle. And it was, the artist watching the video, which was so cool. And then talking to her and having an interview with her was also really awesome as well. And just something that I'll totally never forget. And that's all in January. But before, hi, Cookie. Oh my God. You're really, oh my God. Okay. Um, that's all before like UMK stuff really started. So, um, the rest of January, basically, after I had done the reaction videos, was just like preparing for UMK because I was going there. So I was taking Finnish classes. I was um, learning how to ice skate, taking ice skating lessons so that I could ice skate when I came to Finland. Um, and it was such an exciting time because it was the first time that I was going to have like a vacation in a while, and it was something I had been planning for a really long time. So there was just like an insane level of anticipation. Also, I was going with Maxi Rainbow, so it was like a trip with one of my friends, and I was going to meet people who I had only ever met online and meet new people and see concerts, and it was just such a cool time. And then February came and I went to Finland for UMK. And it wasn't just UMK, but like I got to see the Portion Boys. And I didn't just get to see the Portion Boys, I got to meet the Portion Boys. I got to go backstage with them and have like this absolutely surreal, like dream fulfillment, something that even in my wildest dreams I never considered, that like, oh, I'll go backstage at Logamo with the Portion Boys. Like you know what I mean? Like my dreams of what like the best thing that could happen with Portion Boys was like I get to go to one of their concerts and I get to be in the front, and I get to meet them after the show. Like that was my dream of meeting the Portion Boys, and instead it was something so much better. And I got to meet them twice because they were all actually at UMK, which was the next day, and I got to meet them briefly before the show. So it was just really, really cool. And then like UMK itself, I don't know what she is sniffing. What are you even sniffing? There is nothing over there. The only thing over there is a closed container of cookies. She is just really, really pushing me off. I love you. I love you, but you make me mad. Come on, Cookie, you're actually hurting me. It hurts. Your feet hurt me. I'm so sorry. Um, Sorry, guys. See, this is the type of stuff that I edit out of the videos when I actually do edited videos and not live streams. Um, yeah, hi to everybody in the chat. No, I did not watch the president's New Year's speech. Are you talking about the American president or the Finnish president? Um, yes, happy New Year to everybody. And yeah, lots of hockey coming up. Unfortunately, none of my teams are doing very good. But okay, so yeah, so UMK, I was with Maxi. We had press accreditation. We had gone on this amazing tour of Tampere with the Visit Tampere like travel bureau. They took us ice skating and eating amazing food at restaurants and going up like light towers and just all this cool stuff. So I got to have this really amazing like experience in Tampere with my friend and with other people. Like ESC Gabe was there. So that was just so cool. It was my first time having accreditation for anything. And at UMK, like we got to have like all these buffets from the TV station because we had the press passes and uh, press conferences and first three rows at the rehearsals. And it was just so surreal. Met Katia, met Erica Vickman, met Sara Sipala. Um, just something that I never really dreamed I could do and didn't even really sink in until much later, everything that had happened. It was just sort of like it was like being like pushed by a wave in the ocean. Like you just like are going with it and not really thinking about it. You're just moving through an experience. And then I had this amazing trip in Finland. I went to Lahti and met Pekko Pelican and all these other people at the hockey game and a tour of the arena. And I did all this awesome stuff. And I met all these friends. And I just had such a good time when I was in Finland in February. And then I went home um, and I was so depressed when I got home. And it wasn't just like I was depressed because a vacation was over, which is kind of, one of those typical feelings, to go back to your normal life, to go back to work after a vacation really sucks. But it was more than just that. Like I was so unfulfilled with my life. I realized that I absolutely hated where I was living in the Washington D.C. area, not in Washington D.C., but in like the suburbs of Washington D.C. Totally miserable place. Not It's not a place like for a human being to thrive. It's a really suffocating place with very strange culture and strange people and a very unexciting place and a very fake place. And as much as I enjoyed the work of my job, like the things that I was doing and that they were important, being a historian, I just I dreaded my work and I realized that it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. And I realized after getting back that like the reason I felt so bad being in the US after my trip was because when I was in Finland, it was the first time that I felt happy in years. At least since before my dad died in 2018. So we're talking like 4 full years where I just basically completely lost sight of who I was. I was only trying to survive. I was only trying to just work so that I could have a place to live because after I got out of school in 2020, it was very, very hard. Couldn't find jobs, couldn't find apartments, didn't have a family home to go to because my dad had died. Just really, really hard times, and basically being like a shadow of myself as I was trying to survive. So when I was finally in Finland, I felt like I was like living again in like a meaningful way. And I was crying every single day when I was in Finland. And I remember being like, why am I crying? I'm not sad. I'm not sad. It's just I was overwhelmed um with like the what the feeling of happiness was, because it genuinely had been so long since I felt that way. And even before my dad died, I really was just um I hated Philadelphia as well. Really horrible place to live for so many reasons. Um, so I was back in the US. I felt like shit, and it was just like the only thing I could think was I need to get back to Finland. Like I could just sense that like I needed to come back and be in Finland, because that was the first time I had felt happy somewhere, and I was prepared to just do anything to find a way to get back to Finland, even if it was just for a vacation. So I started researching like how can you move to Finland, and basically you can't. It's really, really hard. You either have to like get hired by a company to work here, but the only industries here are really that would hire a foreigner is like the tech industry, and I am not in the tech industry. I'm doing a live stream so that I don't have to deal with my crappy computer when I'm editing a video. Like that, even just, simple stuff on a computer is too much for me. I'm not a computer person at all. So I was not going to get hired. I'm a historian. That is not something that I'm going to get hired for a job in Finland. That I would be able to beat out a Finnish applicant, because that is essentially it. You have to be better than anything that's available to hire here. So the only other option for me was to go back to school. I already had a master's degree, which was in historic preservation and public history, and it had to be a PhD. So I started looking for schools that I could apply to, and I emailed every single school, like the contact person for the department that had anything even remotely close to what I wanted to do. My idea was I wanted to do something about Eurovision and about like international fandoms. And I contacted all these universities. Nobody even responded to me. Like I couldn't even get oh, thank you for your interest. But we don't think like, and not even rejections, just nothing. Only one university responded to me, and that was someone at University of Jyväskylä, and they were very excited. Um, I'm gonna make my cup of tea. I I misjudged time-wise how much time I had. You see Cookie? She's eating food. That's what she wanted. She wanted food. Um, I misjudged time-wise, and so I didn't have time to steep my tea. And I know because I'm going to be talking quite a bit that my voice might get a little bit um, hoarse from talking. And we'll see how long I end up talking. I'm still only in March, because I guess we're in March now at this point when I'm emailing universities. So the people at JYU are interested, but the thing is with applying to a PhD program is it's not like um, you don't just apply to a PhD program. One of the requirements to be eligible to even apply to a program is that you have two, at least in this university's case, you have two professors say that if you are accepted, they would agree to supervise you. So you have to know what you will be doing. So I worked with this one professor to kind of hone my idea a little bit so that it would be something that I could write a proposal for. So I had to write like a quite extensive proposal. I had to do a ton of research, knowing full well that it might not actually result in anything at all. So I was still working at my regular job. Um, all of my free time was focused on doing this proposal and then getting two professors to say, yes, I will supervise you. And then I could actually apply, which is a huge process on its own. So I get through the first step. Um, I think it was in probably March at the beginning of April. I got through that first step and I had the two people say yes. And then very ironically, um, the person who agreed to supervise me, my second supervisor, was also the master's thesis supervisor for the singer of Portion Boys. Really, really weird coincidence because I did not choose her. I did not know that she had worked with him when he was a student. But it's sort of it was one of those moments when I found it out. I was like, oh my God, like that's such a weird coincidence. Like it almost feels like it's meant to be. Like it made me feel a lot better, like about, the way things were kind of falling into place with that. So I spend every moment basically working on this application, which was due at the end of April, which was also the busiest time of the year at my regular job. So I was doing weeks where I was working extra at my regular job and then going immediately home and then working on this application. I did not even know until basically the deadline. I think the deadline was like at midnight, or it actually might have been like a really weird time, like 3 a.m. or something. I think that's actually what it was, 3 a.m. US time, because that was like 10 a.m. Finnish time. It was something stupid, but I remember I was basically like right up into the wire. Like I did not know if I would even finish the thing. I did not know. So I did get everything done and I did end up applying. And that was I already felt like a huge accomplishment from that, because that on itself was a major, major challenge. One of the harder things that I've ever had to do academically. Um, and then waiting to get a result, because it's not immediate. Results did not come back until June. So I had all of May and most of June where I felt like I was in like limbo, where I don't even know what to like. I can't, it's hard to think about the future when when a very major thing could happen to change your trajectory. So I was also feeling a lot of self-doubt that maybe they wouldn't choose me, that I would have done all of that work and they're just going to say no. My backup plan was, regardless, I was going to go to Finland, even if it was for vacation. So if I didn't find out that I was going to go to Finland in August to do some music festivals, come for like 2 weeks. Um, so I at least still had like that little bit of hope. Like even if I don't move there, I'm still going to go there and like have a summertime experience, which would be very different from the February experience. So May was like a brutal, brutal wait. And honestly, like I literally can't even, I think I was in a daze in all of May. I was totally tuned out of Eurovision life because of everything that was going on with the way the contest was being run. And just was just waiting, which was really like the hardest part. And then June came around and I found out that I was accepted. But even though there was all this excitement around being accepted, then it was like I had all these other questions come up. It's inspiring to hear about people. Oh, thank you so much. Um, so I had to, figure out, okay, I've got to apply for a residence permit. I've got to, um, figure out a place to live, um, all kinds of stuff. And it's a lot of things where like you can't figure out a place to live until you figure out if you're legally allowed to move. And it was a very expensive process. Lots of uh, paperwork, like going to these agencies and doing all of this stuff and like all these banking documents. And I mean, people have this really skewed view of what it actually takes to immigrate legally, and it is like jumping through a series of hoops set on fire while wearing roller skates and blindfolded. It is crazy, and it only gets crazier and harder, and it's really built to wear you down. And to only have like the people who are willing to slog can make it through. So I, I realized that there was like all these un, unanswered questions until I could get my residence permit. Um, I did not even get my residence permit until the end of July. And pretty much the day after I found out that I got the residence permit, I told my job that I was going to be leaving. And that was really hard. I had never had to like resign from a job like that before. Um, but I knew that I was doing the right thing, and actually I knew that once I did resign, and it was like, okay, like this is happening now. I am going to be a doctoral researcher. I am moving, and things did just start to feel a lot more clear and a lot more focused. Although I did end up having all these kind of doubts along the way, and things that would come up where it was like, oh shit, like maybe actually maybe I'm not going to be able to move. I don't know if you guys can hear the sound of Cookie jumping. I don't know if that's picking up on my mic. Cookie, I really can't even tell you enough how annoying you're being right now. Oh my gosh. She's bony. She's got these little feet. So bony. So uh once I started preparing to move, I had to figure out a lot of stuff with Cookie, um, which I'm going to do a whole video about because I think other people who are moving, there's information that I could give them that would be really helpful. Information that I would have wished that I had had when it came to traveling to Finland with Cookie. But like I didn't even know up until the moment of getting on the airplane if it was truly, truly going to happen. I had run into issues with not having a Finnish ID number, so I couldn't apply for apartments. So I didn't know where I would live until like a few weeks, I think, before like I finally solidified that like yes, I am gonna have a place that I can live that was affordable and in Jyväskylä. So like with Cookie, I didn't know if we would make it because when we were at the vet doing her paperwork, she injured her eye, and so the f- the process of moving out of the country was unbelievably challenging. Um, I had moved many times before in my life. I had moved across the state before. I had moved within the same city before. I had moved from city to city. I had moved out of state. Um, I was very skilled. I had moved from country to country before. I just never moved my entire life to another country before. Like I would go to Poland for 9 months at a time. So you're bringing a couple suitcases, um, and leaving the rest like at my parents' house. But that wasn't like a possibility anymore. So I had to get rid of a lot of my stuff. Um, and just deciding what to keep, what to save, what do I think I can sell. I did end up selling quite a bit of stuff, which was good, and I made some money that I was able to use to like furnish the apartment here, because of course I was not coming into a furnished place. I was coming into a literally completely empty place. So I knew I was going to have a ton of expenses when I arrived. So I'm, paring down, selling my stuff. Um, and I was thinking the whole time that I was doing a good job, that I was on track with things. And then the time really just started blowing by. I had done a garage sale to sell some of the stuff that I had, and it was a total flop. And I barely made any money and barely sold any of my stuff. And then I'm trying to like find ways to donate stuff places and just all this time, all this stuff. And then I just felt like as I was packing up, like I just felt like it was like more stuff was materializing and taking things out to a storage unit, which was very far away from where I was living, and all of this driving and all of this packing. And it was just so stressful. It was really hard on my body. It was also summertime in Washington, D.C., where we were having days where it was 100, so 40 plus Celsius degrees every day for a week, where like you feel like you're gonna die just when you walk outside. And so you're like carrying all this heavy shit into your car and then driving somewhere and then carrying it out of your car, and just like really exhausting stuff. And I had actually planned to be out of my apartment a few days before my flight. And then a week before leaving, all the stuff with Cookie's eyes started. So I'm like giving her medication every 3 hours. Um, I'm uh, putting eye drops in her eye. She had a cone on, so I had to basically carry her to go to the bathroom constantly. I had to hand feed her her food. I mean, it was like I couldn't sleep. I was very stressed. Um, I was honestly paskana, like the way that the whole year started. I was a fucking wreck. And I kept thinking like something, because I kept having all this bad stuff happen, so I kept thinking like something bad is going to happen. Like something is going to keep us from, like we were so close, and something is going to really keep us from getting there. And it was such a hard process that I actually ended up turning in the keys to my apartment on the day that I flew to Finland. And so I had left actually behind a whole lot of stuff in my apartment that I could never was able to get into storage. And couldn't even take it to the trash. Like I literally just abandoned a bunch of things in the apartment. I'm sure there were things I abandoned in that apartment that I really wish that I had it. But so I have my car packed up with as much stuff as I can. I have Cookie with a cone on her head. Um, and I'm dropping off my keys, driving directly to my mother's house, which was like an hour away. And then I was packing my suitcases. My suitcases were not packed in the hours before I left for the airport. I left behind so much stuff in the car that I meant to bring with me, like very obvious things. Like I literally got here and realized I didn't have any long sleeve shirts. Arriving in October in Finland and you don't have any long sleeve shirts. Like there was just very stupid things that I forgot to bring with me. And so um I'm packing up my bags. As soon as I finish packing up my bags, we jump in my mom's car to drive to the airport. They almost didn't let me board because of, I don't know, stupid stuff, doesn't matter. But like we finally get on the airplane, and this is September already. I'm like jumping ahead of myself. This is the end of September that I flew out, because honestly, July, August, September was just like this huge blur of hustling and stressing to get things done. And that's why I like don't have any like pictures from that time, because like there was nothing to take pictures of. You don't take pictures of packing, I was just like really just like going through the motions of things that I had to do in order to get stuff done. Um, okay, so since now I'm on the airplane, and I'm flying to Finland at the end of September, beginning of October. I arrived on the 30th of September, so basically, I got to Uvascula in the evening, so that's pretty much the October. I consider October 1st. That was the first day that I woke up in Finland, so I consider October 1st to be my first day in Finland. But so since I'm on the airplane flying here, I'm gonna just jump into the chat because I've been kind of ignoring it. I guess we're at this point now, but yes, I do feel better now that I'm in Finland. Um, Thank you, Petter. I'm very happy to be in Finland. I'm glad that my story could be inspiring. Ice hockey or concerts? Well, I mean, concerts, if we're talking about like my favorite bands, because I feel like those are a little bit more rare. I feel like hockey is always happening in the season. Like you have very many opportunities, whereas it's like if a certain band comes to your city, like it's a little bit more like of a unique experience. Also, your band is never going to lose, where your hockey team might. Um, do I have a plan to visit USA? I don't. I the only reason I would go back would be to take some stuff from storage to bring back to Finland, but I don't have any plans to. I'd be fine if I never went back there, honestly. Um, I do miss my family, but I miss some, I don't know, silly things, like just things that I can get there that I'm used to that I can't get here. Like certain medications that I found out that I can't get here that are very readily available in the US. Um, I've had a few situations like that where I'm like, oh, I can't get this very basic, something I considered, oops, sorry, to be a very basic thing. Um, it took years to adjust moving to Finland and then had to move over and over again. That's always hard to have to move a lot. I think I had counted and it was something like I moved 7 times in 4 years. Really rough. That type of movement is really rough because you just, even if you're in the same city but you're moving to different places, you just never really feel like you can settle. Um, in fact, that's why I basically don't have anything hung up because I sort of ran into this issue with all of my moving in the past 5 years that I never want to hang anything because I know that I'm just going to have to take it down again. Um, 11 moves in 17 years. Yeah, that's a lot. It's just, it's nice to be in one place for a while. And I'm so excited that I get to like I have no intention of moving out of this apartment even though there's some things that I wish were different about it. Not enough to make me want to move again. It's too much to move. Sounds like I was in a brain fog. I was in a brain fog. Um, it was a really, really rough time, which is also why I also think I was feeling a little bit traumatized through a lot of it. So I blocked a lot of my memories out. Any plans on family visiting me? Yes. My mother is going to visit me in the summertime. And I think my little sister said that she would come with her daughter next winter because her daughter will be like 3, so a little bit easier to like do stuff with. Um, and then my older sister, who has multiple children, I think she said she'll come in 2027 because both of the younger kids will be old enough to like remember things. So I do have family that plans to come, and I have some cousins who really want to come because they love skiing and they love fishing. And so I said, like, well, that means that no matter what time of the year you come and visit, you'll love it because in the winter you can ski all you want. In the summer you can fish and be in nature. So I do have some cousins and my aunt, their mom, who wants to come and visit too. So that's really exciting. So we are back in October 1st of this year. I am waking up in an Airbnb in Uvascula, and my friend is there who met me at the airport and came up with me and helped me with my bags and stuff. Um, they were there, and I just felt so relieved because I had made it after 8 months of a lot of like sadness and stress and uncertainty. Like I was here, and I wasn't going anywhere. Like I stayed for a week in that Airbnb just to give me time to um catch up from the like jet lag, get my body back on time, like also just rest a little bit because I had been going through so much in the lead up to flying over that it was nice to just wake up in the morning and know that I didn't have to rush to do this, that, and the other. Like there was suddenly so much less urgency, like in my life, that I could just relax, and just like walk around the city and eat food and just take care of myself. Cookie was still having medical issues with her eye, so I was still like administering all this medication and stuff. So it wasn't totally stress free, but comparatively, it was just so much better. So um, October, October was just wonderful in the sense that it was such a departure from the way I had been living before. I eventually moved in after a week to the apartment that I'm filming in right now. And it was very strange because it was like empty. I had come with 2 suitcases, that was it. And I had to buy a lot. I had to get a bed, I had to get a couch, I had to get a table, chairs, bed sheets, towels, dishes. I had nothing, and I kept having these moments where it was like, you're like, "Oh, I wanna cook this," and then you realize, "Oh, but I don't have the equipment to cook that." Like, I don't have a mixing bowl. I have, like, 1 bowl to eat out of and 1 soup pot, and it's a small soup pot, so it's like I felt like every day I was leaving the house twice a day because I would I remember buying I think I bought potatoes, and then I realized I didn't have a knife to cut them with. So it was like all this stuff where you just like, "Oh fuck, I've got to go back again because I just don't." I didn't have like lights. I didn't it was just it was so strange, especially because in my previous apartment, like I had everything. I had like a waffle iron. I had everything, especially kitchen stuff. I had probably 10 sets of bed sheets. I probably had a dozen towels. I had everything, and then I got here and I basically had nothing. So I'm like going and doing all this shop. I felt like I was shopping all the time, but then I'm also um doing my university stuff. I'm meeting my professors, I'm going to seminars, I'm doing my classes, I'm working on my research plan. Like that stuff, that was all happening in the background as I'm just trying to scramble on a day to day. But overall, I was just so happy to be here. My first weekend actually was so nuts because I saw DJ Oku Lukainen, who I really love, and I was so excited to have that chance to see him. He's worked with so many artists that I enjoy. So I saw him at a club, and then I that same night before I went and I saw him, I went to a hockey game, and I literally walked to the hockey game from the place that I'm living because it's right up the hill. It's less than 10 minutes walk away. And then the next morning, it would have been a Saturday, I woke up and I looked at Spotify and I saw that it was suggesting a concert in Washington, D.C. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not in Washington, D.C. anymore. I'm going to change it to Uvascula. And I change it. And the first thing that pops up is there's a Sara Sipola concert in Uvascula tonight. I literally laid down on the floor and cried for like a half an hour because I couldn't believe that the reason I was here basically was because of the Paskina reaction. I don't believe that if it hadn't been for that reaction that I would have had the idea of my research project, looking at like the international fandom around UMK. I don't know. Maybe I would have gotten the idea, but I don't know actually that I would have. And like she was just so important in formulating my research and US beat Canada for World Juniors. Yes. Hi, Jason. Thank you. I feel much happier. That's the thing. When you feel good, it shows. Cookie, you're driving me crazy. Just go get your toy, please. She does this every time I do a video because she hears talking and she thinks I'm talking to her, but I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the 40 odd people that are in the stream, and I need to get back to paying attention to them. She is so annoying. Um, Cookie, please. Cookie, please. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna give her more food. I don't care. Okay. I'm so sorry, you guys. Oh, and she's still bothering me. Didn't even work. Oh my goodness. Oh, Cookie, what am I gonna do? I can't live with you. Can't live without you. Okay. So, so that night I go to the Sada Sipola concert with a couple packs of tissues because I knew it was gonna be a rough show, and it was like in like this really small bar, like literally a bar. And it's not a concert venue; it's a bar with a little stage on it. So I go to the show and I'm right in front, and she was amazing, just such a good singer and such the perfect atmosphere. And they had live instruments. They had like someone with like a cello who was accompanying her. It was just a really great show. I cried a ton, and like I was right up front, and it wasn't a big place. And when you see somebody who recognize you, you can normally recognize in their face that like they recognize you. And we were so close in such a small space that if she would have recognized me, there would have been some sort of a reaction from her. So it gets to the end of the show, and I can tell that there was never any moment where she looked at me and was like, "Oh my God, it's you." So which is fine because I don't expect necessarily people to recognize me. But so the show ends, and then as she's walking off the stage, because it was such a small place, I kind of shouted to her, "Sara, I made it back to Finland." And she whips around and she looks at me like she's seen a ghost, just totally like shocked. And she just kept saying like, what are you doing here? Like, what are you doing? Like she couldn't like process that I was like that it actually was me. Because she said, "I looked at you during the show and I thought to myself, funny, that looks like Renata, but it couldn't possibly be her because why would she be in Uvascula?" Which makes sense. Why would I be in Uvascula? So so I got to have a moment with her. It was one of those things where I don't even know how long the moment was. I don't know how long we were talking with each other because it was just like it could have been 5 minutes, it could have been 1 minute. I have no clue. Because we were just so in the moment, like with each other. One of those things where it was like we were just like locked eyes with each other, just like hugging each other over and over again. And I had told her, like, I'm here because of you. Like I'm doing this research about UMK because of you. And oh, it was just so cool. Oh, just this awesome moment. And actually, an interview had just come out with Sara, like literally in the past few days, with her hometown newspaper. Do not start to bark. I can tell you want to bark. With her hometown newspaper. And the headline of it, a friend had sent it to me because the headline said, "A foreign fan of Sara Sipola moved to Finland," and other like great things that happened in Sara's career this year. And my friend was like, obviously, I realized that she had to be talking about you. And she says in the article that like one of the craziest experiences of the year was that she was doing a show in Uvascula and that she saw one of her foreign fans, me, who told her that like they'd moved to Finland to like study Finnish music because of her. So like the fact that after all this time that she's doing an interview and like that was one of her memories of this year was just like so cool. Like I'm just so I love her. Um, so yeah, so October, just wonderful. I saw on November 1st, so now we're jumping up into November. Um, I saw Caria on November 1st. I also saw Pasiansi on November 1st, and they were so good. And Caria was so good. That was another show where I like cried at 10 because like he was another reason that I was here. And it was just so cool to finally start going to gigs. Oh, I guess also in October I went and I saw Yesi Martin. So I had been going to gigs and doing things and doing sauna and all this stuff. And I just had such a great first month here. November got off to this amazing start. The day after the Cadia show, I went to Tampere for the um, Global Series hockey game. Um, I met all these friends. I met new friends. I met people who like I had talked to online but never met before. Just everything. Um, Such a good experience. I had been traveling with Cookie as well, and she did a really good job. Um, just so good. And I also I had my birthday in November. I usually hate my birthday. I don't even normally celebrate my birthday, but I had a party and 20 friends came and I just had like this awesome awesome birthday, the best birthday I've ever had in my life. And I got to see Isaac Elliott perform, and Olga showed up and did a song with him on stage. And I was at Tavastia and this, incredible venue. And then later that week, I got to see the Portion Boys twice, once in Uvascula at the Lutaco, and then again at Perunka, which is this big concert space. I got to go backstage with them again after the Lutaco show, which was just again just one of those things where when it's happening you just like can't believe that it's happening. Like you would never think, the best case scenario is you go to the concert and you get to give them a hug afterwards and say hi and how good the show was, and instead you're like sitting in a room with them and just like honestly just totally surreal. And I couldn't even imagine like a better way to spend my birthday than the way that I had. And now the birthday thing was a trip to Helsinki, so I finally got out of Jyväskylä. As much as I do like Jyväskylä, it's really nice to get out because it's so easy to travel here. So I haven't traveled as much as I wanted to just because like weather, cookie, expenses, reasons to go out. I'm not just gonna like go to Pori for the weekend for no reason. Like, I need to have a reason to go and do something. So yeah, so November was one to remember, a November to remember. And again, I also got the reminder of what it means to be a student again. I hadn't been a student since 2020. And, that's just one of those aspects of life that you have to juggle. And it's one of the like less remarkable aspects of life, but it actually has been like very nice to be back in an academic atmosphere where I'm hearing other people talk about their research and getting ideas for my own research, even though they might not be looking at something even at all similar to what I'm looking at, but just having this like exchange and meeting new people and hearing other scholars talk about their work has just been really cool because I'd been a little bit isolated from that working as a professional because I was doing a lot of administrative stuff and not really working with other people, which I'm finally getting the chance to do now. Um, and let's see. Yeah, so November ends and December came and honestly blew past. I couldn't even believe it when it was already Christmas. It happened so fast, and I actually like I like was thinking, I was like, what even happened in December? Like, what did I even do in December? And I did do a lot of schoolwork. I did go to Mikkeli for a hockey game. So I made some new friends through being in like the hockey fan like supporters club. And but I realized that the winter kind of blew past me, or December kind of blew past me, because the darkness has really fucked my brain up. Like, I've been trying to take like the vitamin D pills. I have a therapy lamp. Um, I take melatonin at night so that I can sleep. But I just the fact that there's no daylight here, and even when it's like daylight, like it's fucking overcast. Like you just never see the sun here. It's so dark even when it's light. And so I was finding myself getting like very tired when the sun would go down at 3 p.m. and then I would push through the tiredness, but then at that point it's just dark. So your body no longer knows like when it should go to sleep. Like your body knows, okay, it got dark, but you're not supposed to go to sleep at 3 o'clock, so you don't do it. So I just like I've been staying up so late, like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And it's not because I'm doing anything interesting. It's just because like my body and my brain don't know when to go to sleep. And then I wake up at like 11 o'clock in the morning. But even at 11 o'clock, the sun only came up an hour ago, but it's going to go down again in like 2 to 3 hours. So it's not even like there is much daylight to speak of. And it's really messed with my sense of time. Um, and I'm really glad that the days are starting to get longer now, because I was sort of starting to feel like I don't I'm not depressed. The weather's not making me sad. It's just making me like disoriented, which I find to be very unpleasant. So darkness is lovely. I don't mind the darkness. It's just um the way that it messes up like my day, like the sleeping thing, the way that it messes with the sleeping. So um I'm sure I will have a separate set of complaints in the summer when it never gets dark, but I do find that it's uh a little bit it's like messed with my sense of time. Um and I've also just been sleeping a lot too, because it's just like, oh, like I'll be sleeping in because it's not even getting light, so I just feel like I'm just going to keep sleeping. So, um, Christmas was really nice. I went to a friend who's from Uvascula. She doesn't live here; she lives in Helsinki, but came back up and went to be with her and her mom on Christmas Eve, and we did like a cheese and fruit plate, and made the joulutortu, which I thought were pretty good. So had like a very nice, pleasant, laid back Christmas. I didn't do anything really on Christmas Day. I cooked a bunch of food. I had like a big roast chicken and potatoes and stuffing. Oh, the stuffing I made was so good. I literally might just start making stuffing and gravy for myself, because it was honestly so good. So then, there's that weird time period between Christmas and New Year's, and now that has already passed. So like I am in sort of my final stages right now, to get ready for UMK. So, like looking forward into 2025, in 1 week, let's see, today's Wednesday, right? Today is Wednesday. So 1 week from this moment that I'm filming, I will actually be in Helsinki at Studio Talo for Ule for the recording of the artist reveal. And today they started putting out the like teasers for the artists. So I will be there for that. I'll spend a few days in Helsinki. Um, I will be doing reactions. So definitely keep an eye out for the reactions. I'll be putting them out. I'll be recording them at midnight. So I'll try to get them out as quickly as possible. And there's also going to be some other really important information that's going to come out in the lead up to the songs being released. But yeah, I'm so pumped. I can't wait to hear the songs. I can't wait to do my reactions. I really, really, really hope that it's going to be a great year because it'll be really awkward if it's not and I don't like any of the songs. But I've got tickets for UMK, and I just can't wait to get the ball rolling on everything. It's been really, really wild to look back at the past year and everything that's happened, how I am in a completely different place. If you would have told me at the beginning of 2024 that I would be living in Finland by the end of the year. Like, I mean, maybe I would have believed you because anything is possible and I am kind of crazy. So it would make sense that that would be something that I would do. But it really just is such a it's it's just such an unbelievable thing that this all happened and it all happened the way that it did, and despite like the bumps along the way, that it all actually ended up, pretty good in the end, and nothing bad, like nothing totally horrible, long-standingly bad happened. So I'm just so happy to be in Finland. I'm so happy to have my cookie with me. I'm really grateful for like 44 people in the chat right now or in watching the video, and all the people in the chat who have been leaving their comments. I appreciate that so much. And I think I'm going to make myself a bowl of soup and some vegetables and I don't know. I think, Portion Boys put out a new vlog. So I'm going to watch the Portion Boys vlog. And they had a new music video come out today. You guys should check out the Naihin Homine Sunita video. Have to give my Portion Boys plug. But I really wish you all a happy new year and a healthy new year and lots of good luck in the new year. And yeah, I appreciate you all. So thank you for watching. Bye.